Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back. 2024 is among us, and another year of Mario Kart time trial is in the books. And as the past couple years have been delivering, this past year is no exception. Starting off on LC, we have the untie of Casey and Cole, and Casey is now untied #1 champ. Congrats to Casey. And I think Cole's collective reign, I believe, was at least 10, maybe 11 years or so. Initially, Casey tied Cole, and that was awesome. But of course, Cole wasn't officially dethroned at the time. But in the past year, this current record by Casey is the one to seal the deal. And truthfully, at this point, this run is awesome. I really think without any major strategy changes, I think a 108.650 might be a practical limit. We'll see. But this run is insane. I guess most of the chains, the cuts are great. And really, it just shows how strong Cole's time was when at the time that he said it as well. But major congrats to Casey here. This has been his goal for a long period of time, so to see him finally succeed for the untie is great. I'm sure it was bittersweet for him right when he tied it and didn't actually get the complete world record, you know? But regardless though, seen by the top 10 here, we have 5 108s now. I think this record is going to stand for the rest of 2024. I don't think Case is going to come back anytime soon, and I don't think Cole's going to be playing either. Moving on to Moo Moo Meadows. This also got a treatment too in 2023. So I believe Logan was the one to dethrone Sosis. And then Sosis came back, as he usually does. It's good to see when he comes back too. And I believe this .2 is not the only time that he got last year. I think he initially improved the record at least once or twice with very small baby cuts to the lower .3 time. And now he has this 115.2. And truthfully here, this run is strong, but I think there's more to go here. It's kind of ridiculous to say that we're almost at a 114, and it seems like it's practical to have some more semi-sizable jumps, if you will. But especially seeing how that last turn goes, all the players are way better at doing it more consistently now, but there's like a super instant drift you can do and an instant wheelie out of it, and it saves like a crap load of time. So I think long term this will definitely go to a 114. Will it happen this year? I have no idea. But regardless though, it's good to see some more activity on Moo Moo Meadows. Pretty crazy to me that even a couple years ago with Fox's like 115.7 record, it took so long to beat that time. But now that's not even on the top 10 anymore if you look at it right here, right now. So yeah, all the players, the player base, the skill has risen overall. But yeah, I think there might be some more activity here in the coming year. We shall see. Mushroom Gorge, and this was also improved in the past year. Alperin reclaimed the record here, finally adapting to this still moderately newer strat that they do now happening here right now with these mushroom pads over here. They skip the red mushroom pad, they go way to the side, swooping out, get the zipper on the ground there. And I have no idea truthfully how much it even saves. I'm guessing maybe 50 milliseconds a lap or so, maybe. Probably if I'm wrong, MG players in the comments here. But it's just so funny. I think maybe maybe 2 years ago with doing these reactions, I think Connor had a 140.7 without this strategy here now. And I thought, man, like almost all the juice was squeezed out of MG, you know? And now here we are, it's a 140.4. And it seems like just along the way, people are just finding just incremental time saves and just doing the basics just as crisp and pristine as possible. So with that in mind, like for example, like going in between the mushroom stalks there, I think that saves at least maybe 30 milliseconds, give or take, per one lap. So there's still some more marginal time saves here. I'm kind of known for some more, bolder predictions, if you will, for times than what's possible overall historically, but I would not be surprised, okay, if this is a 139 eventually. Even with no strategy changes, who knows? I think everything is just being optimized for just the basic driving strategies and just really being pristine with every last thing. Overall, though, congrats to Alperin. It looks insane to see a 140.4 because a couple years back, even getting a 141 seemed like the impossible task. So, really impressive here. Almost the entire top 10 is now finally a 140, so that's taken quite a while, but we're almost there. On to the glitch category, and Idris is the first one, still the only one, to get a sub 20-second time on the Gorge, on the rock. We're twirling back and forth incessantly until we're crossing the finish line. This is a whole circus act every single time I watch this, and I love it. It's amazing. And you go forward, and you go back, and you clip reverse to the finish line. This is the most hilarious thing to watch amongst most of the categories in this video game. So amazing job, Idris. Congratulations. Came back after so long, reclaimed from Bryce. Will this be improved in the next year? I feel like it might. I think the battle between Idris and Bryce does not end here. Only time will tell. We shall see what happens in the future. As you're going to see, most of the categories in the past year have improved. If I were to ask you, the audience, any video to give a like on the video, please on this one, I would appreciate it. I put so much TLC into this video in particular here, a lot more upgrades for the viewing quality to be better, including if the record was improved in the past year, as you can see by the graphic. And also, if you can see here, all the ghosts here in this entire video is going to be comparing versus second worldwide. I think that might provide us a more interesting experience, give more exposure to other players, and kind of see who's coming up and who's potentially testing the crown, if you will, on all these tracks here. So yeah, so a lot of effort has gone into this, so hopefully you guys are enjoying this viewing experience so far. So with that in mind, it was improved from the past year. I believe Logan had this into this year, and he improved it again. It's so close to 148 now, and I think it'll be any month now this year that more than likely we'll have the first 148 in Toad's Factory. And I'm a broken record. I'm sorry, but a couple years ago, even like mid 149, high 149, I thought that was very impressive. Now they're doing the double hop after the conveyor there. From what I can understand, they're maintaining some of the conveyor belt momentum a little bit into that second hop, giving a little bit extra time save there. Apart from that, I think the fastest pace so far is by Barney, if I'm not mistaken, and he failed the last low, I think, which is quite tragic because it was a 148 pace from what I can understand. I believe there's Logan here, Connor, Barney. That's been the top three overall here, kind of trading hands and trying to notch down the record further here. Barney got very close, but then I think Connor got it, then Logan got it back, and now he improved us to the 039. That was a mouthful. Anyway, with that in mind, I think this will definitely see a 148 here. Also, Luke did come back this past year, got a tied third worldwide, so it'll be really cool. Maybe Luke will be the first 148 and reclaim it after multiple years since losing it. We shall see. On the glitch category, once more, had another improvement by Logan. Logan has had this category like unlocked for quite a while now. Probably at least maybe a year and a half or 2 years at least, I want to say. This is still so cool to see. Despite that, this may be improved by a lot, potentially, this coming year. Reason being is, I believe it was Tasser by the name of Monster. They discovered, I guess, like a long clip to cut off even more of the conveyor here, and you're landing by the boxes over there, and you're kind of bouncing up through the floor. And from what I can understand, that's going to save at least another second over doing the standard 2 for 3 here. It looks really crazy. I will link that in the description so you can watch it in case you guys haven't seen that so far. But regardless, though, this is kind of just a whole pace lock thing of the boxes are a certain point in time. If you're there before the boxes, you can't do the clip. If you get there after the fact, you're just too slow, right? So this is kind of like an auto scroller of a category until you get to the box lap 2, and then you get a really good clip lap 2, a good recovery, and then race as fast as possible to the finish line after that. So I think they can get a 143 with this current set of strats right now, but I think whoever does that first like long clip eventually, I think it will be to at least a high 142. I'm pretty sure, if not at least a low 143. Regardless though, this is still one of the coolest categories to watch. I love this category personally, so it looks really cool every single time. Yeah, but at least people are starting to slowly catch up here. Mitch got the second 144 here, so will it trade hands eventually? I don't know. We shall see. Moving on to the Flower Cup now, we have Mario Circuit, and this is another year where a guy continues to hold the no glitch world record on Mario Circuit. This is one of my personal all-time favorite records in the entire history of the game. Guy got this on stream, and this is still one of the most craziest records I saw it live, and also just watching it back. So you see a little MT they'll do here onto the ramp, and it goes super low. The super low one is called the King Alex ramp. If you land on the fatter part of it, and it's called like a fast ramp, I think, but it's nowhere near as fast as the King Alex instant clip into the sand, scoop up over the curb and cut way more, and be a lot more faster by at least, I think, 300 milliseconds per one lap. And Guy is the first and only one to do this 3 for 3 in a world record. And when he did this, it saved almost half a second on no glitch category, which already was pretty optimized. So really crazy. I know Casey have wanted this for the absolute longest time now, and he is obviously second roll by, as you can see there. Got very close, but not there quite yet. Maybe this is the year that Casey will do the job. We shall see. From what I know, I believe Guy kind of stepped away from the game at least the past year or so. So if he's dethroned, I don't know if he'll really come back or not. But I think long term this will go to a 119 if you have a really optimized 3 for 3. But still, that run by Guy, this golf clap, that is really, really impressive. I love to watch that record every single time. This surprised me in the past year because Key's time looked like it was fairly strong for what it was. But then look at this, the instant turnaround shroom clip, like, oh my god, man. Like, doing that at a full speed like that is just so tricky to do that entry, and that's where most of the time save is going to come from. Apart from that, if you notice here, right from the bonk, and you get a really fast descent on the bonk there from the hill, I think you can get like a slower recovery from that, and you're just losing time there. But I believe on both laps here, Key gets a really fast bounce. Yeah, I think lap 2 was better than that one there, but that was still pretty fast as well. So this was improved by over a second in the past year. I believe Logan could probably get this back if he were to grind it eventually again, because he was a former record holder here before Key got it. Apart from that, this will probably potentially go to a 45, maybe. This run seems really strong, especially for how fast that entry was, to be honest. So I'm welcome to be surprised anyway, though. But still, a real treat to watch. Now, I don't know what happened on this track in 2023. I have no idea. Breakson is literally such a crazy, awesome player. So it was probably, a couple of months ago. And I feel like Breakson just went rapid fire, improving like every single day, new upload, new WR for the no glitch category here. And just the current state of Coconut Mall is really impressive, especially if you've seen where all the strats were years ago to now. There are so many different implementations here, including what you're going to see on lap 2. Lap 2 is pretty sketch, so we'll get there in a second. But regardless, though, it was also good to see Ace. I believe Ace's current time, he got this last year. So it's nice to see that Ace is trying to play the game a little bit again, including this track. Ace was the first one to get the first 155 here historically, so hats off to Ace here for his past record. But Breakson has had quite the vice grip on both categories here for quite a while. And rolling up now on lap 2, this strat is super sketch, but it saves at least 50 milliseconds, I think. Like, look at that. He barely skims by the car, gets a third zipper. I believe that addition was only in the past year, if my memory serves me right. But still, I think it's at least 50 to 80 milliseconds or so if you do it well. That's really only worth it at this level for world records now. If your PB is a bit slower than this, it's not really worth it. I don't really think so. Regardless, though, I'm sure Breakson will be the first one to tell you all that this is still nowhere near optimized for him. And I believe long term he wants to get the 154 done. That will look really crazy eventually. So I look forward to that day. Breakson better be working on that, man. With that in mind, though, as impressive as the no glitch record is here right now, seeing a 155.2 is stupid, it's crazy, it's awesome. However, we are now rolling into this. All right. 2023 brought this new Coconut Mall glitch entry. Like, what the hell? Like, what in the world, man? Like, yeah, I should do an entire video on the entire history of the glitch on this track because it has me speechless. I can't even talk right now. What's really entertaining is he's a full lap ahead of second worldwide here. Most of the time save is coming from that new entry instantly from the finish line right there, as you saw. This bonkers is crazy. I want to do a full video just kind of geeking out on all the entries in the history of this category in particular because it's something short of insane. It deserves the screen time for sure. But shout out to Breakson. He's the only one to still have been able to do that so far. Now, even more surprises here. So last year, I did the recording maybe March of last year. I recorded these records as of maybe mid-February or so this year. I've been working on this video for a couple weeks now. This was quite the treat and a surprising comeback after all this time, okay? This battle is awesome. So, Blake, shout out to Blake. He's been the king of the summit for a very long time. And eventually, Connor got his first world record, dethroning Blake on this track. Connor is a wonderful, talented player. He's really pristine on all the technique-heavy tracks. You'll see his name a little bit later on the video, too. But with that in mind, Connor had his come-up on this track, one of the hardest tracks and categories in the entire game. And eventually, Blake did come back. He reclaimed his throne a couple of years ago. And Connor never really kind of bothered to, play it again or try and contend. I don't blame him from how hard and ridiculous this category is now. But with that in mind, Connor finally came back. I think he got a 144.6 a couple of weeks ago. Had a heartbreaking part in the run where I think he lost at least a couple hundred milliseconds. But here now, he reclaims the record. And I might be wrong, but this might be the first time that he's held two records at once. I think he's only held at least one course record at once. So congrats to Connor for that. And the exchange between Blake and Connor continues. So Blake has been streaming too, so we'll see if he gets it back. Regardless, this track has a mighty way to go. I think long term this will be a low 143. I'm sure both Connor and Blake will agree with me in saying that. When all the stars align for that to happen, it'll happen. Moving on. We now have Wario's Gold Mine, where both categories also had an improvement in the past year. So first off, Logan got the record from Luke here. Logan enters the fold as the second player to get a 149 here on Gold Mine No Glitch. And a couple of years ago, I guess it was 2021? Yes? No? Yeah. I think it was 2021. where the entire revolution of Gold Mine happened, where that beginning turn skip was a thing, but then the detached here happened. Shout out to Justin for finding this way back then. And then everything was completely revolutionized. Vincent's old 150.5 record, which is still so impressive for the old strategies used, was finally dethroned, and that has allowed players now to get the first 149s here. And I think long term, I think there's still more to go. I think the biggest issue now is going to be the mine cart on lap 3, which you'll see in a little bit. But still though, the beginning turn skip is really impressive. It saves a good amount of time, but this detach right here, if you do it really well, I believe it saves at least 300 milliseconds per one lap, as opposed to going to the left side in the past. It's just so funny how like Wario's like fingers are just kind of pointing down to here, and like for 14 years we just went to the other side, you know. But regardless though, this track is so fun to play. This is always one of my favorite tracks for sure. And this is such a unique, truly unique track to play now. I feel like every 5-10 seconds or so you're doing some type of intensive strat here. So there's a lot of moving parts going on here. Will there be any new contenders here for the record? Definitely Invincible to come back. Both Logan and Luke can improve. I think Casey here can definitely contend. I think he's high up on the charts. Also, I think Justin, if Justin were to try and grind this out, I don't see why he couldn't potentially enter back into the fold as well. But with that in mind, we have only 2 149s right now. Rest of the entire top 10 is low 150s now, so congrats to all the players here. Moving on now to the glitch category. The trading of the hands continues. Spanish player Pollo returns to reclaim the record from Ray. And fun fact, in case you guys don't know, Ray is a Wii wheel player. So the whole motion control thing, yeah, like Ray is second worldwide, that goes right there, and the former world record uses the flimsy wheel to do all of that, which is nothing short of insane. Pollo was the first player to get the 3x3 pipe bounce world record, and he came back, I think, exactly 13 years later, March of 2023, I want to say. And it's just a treat to see that he's still trying to grind down the time here. He reclaimed it after all this time. As far as any more significant improvements here, that I'm not really too sure. I'm sure probably like a 31.4 will probably happen eventually, just for having the absolute best pipe bounces, turnaround, the bounce off the wall, first frame MT, all that stuff. We shall see. Now, Daisy Circuit, this was improved in the past year. Logan, I believe, I gotta consult mkwrs.com here. I'm forgetting my dates here. I forget if Logan had it into the 2023 or not. He did, yes. So Logan got another improvement here, a really important improvement now, because this is the first world record, to my memory, that has 3x3 stair dives. Stair dives is what happens when you land at the very edge of the lip here at the staircase. It propels you forward and you get really, really fast momentum. Seeing that comparison there, you can use your eyes. That's pretty fast, obviously. So compared to not getting a stair dive, you're losing at least roughly maybe 200 milliseconds per one lap or more. It could be way more than that if you get a very high trick off of the ramp, if your hop is really badly timed. However, this world record is now out of date as of I think 1 or 2 days ago, because Luke actually just reclaimed it again with even lower 0.3 time. So that's really exciting. Seeing the trade in the hands once more. I don't know if he has 3x3 stair dives in that run or not. It's not recorded yet, so I don't really know. But regardless though, I think long term a 127 might be very difficult, because the lap 2 and 3 splits are slightly conducive. I mean, the best known splits anyway. Conducive to get a 127. But lap 1 is just the hardest one because it's naturally the slowest lap in the run. Regardless though, it seems like the rest of the top 10 is fairly dormant. No one is really cracking into the top 2 anytime soon, but that can always change. We shall see. Now, as of this year as well, both categories for Koopa Cape have also been improved. As we can see here, Logan is on top for this track and Luke is number 2. But Luke's time here, this 206, I believe this wasn't a former world record. It was his improvement that almost reclaimed the record here. And as you're going to see, it's definitely in both the Logan and the Luke show for a lot of these tracks here, especially for the no glitch categories. These two are some of the all-time best players in the game, especially in the active current day right now. And the strats here now in KC are truly insane, and this is not even using all the known strats as of yet. The biggest one that's not being used in this run right now is the actual detach entering into the pipe, which I believe saves at least 100 or more milliseconds per one lap. I believe Jung Woo, he's also a South Korean Wii World user, former world record holder in this track as well. He's been playing this in the past year from what I can tell. I believe in one of his older runs, he has done a detach into the pipe as well, and it saves a lot of time. And I think long term for sure, I think this track is going to go to at least a mid 216 if all the known strats are used. I actually didn't realize he doesn't even do the pipe wheelie lap too. Huh, interesting. I haven't watched these runs for a while. And normally when I try to record the runs for these videos, I try not to actively watch it, so I'm kind of surprised myself once more. So that was a treat. So he definitely lost a lot of time lap 2, didn't do the wheelie in the pipe, and also had a really bouncy shroom exit. So the way you get bounces there is just pretty convoluted and pretty annoying. If you're going to see at the end of lap 3, there's a waterfall there, but then the arc of it, there's a little graded metal thing. And if you barely touch that, it's kind of prone to getting a lot of bounces like that. And if you were to rewind that lap 2, all those incremental bounces just loses a crap load of time. So with that in mind, though, this is still an awesome record. I think still more to be done here for sure. I think the first 216 will happen here. There's been plenty of activity here in the past year, obviously, from what I spoke about before. Logan, Luke, Jungwoo, all three can definitely do the deed. They've been the main 3 top players active here for the past little while. Fox, also old world record holder here as well. He tied Justin's time, I think, at least a year ago, but the rest of the pack is pretty far behind, so we'll see what happens in the future. Now, Koopa Cape glitch, I still cannot believe that this can occur on Koopa Cape. This whole discovery of like the different wall properties and getting inside the whole wall and everything, you're going to see in a little while. If you've never seen them before, it's quite a treat. I think most of the glitch and shortcut categories in this game are just really hilarious but insane to watch at the exact same time. And initially, obviously, with any new type of glitch like this, most often they'll try and do it on lap 1 most of the time, because to waste almost 1 minute to get 1 attempt at a hard glitch, it's not really practical to try and get the record, obviously, right? But now in the past few records, they're defaulting to doing it on lap 2. And just looking at the old splits and everything for the world records, they save all the time with a faster glitch entry. They're on the seam here, like a 1 or 2 pixel seam. They stop, turn around, shroom again, get behind the finish line, all the checkpoints work out, and once they land, they get the boost, they cross the finish line, and BAM! Lap cap. So, that was a mouthful, but anyway, with that in mind, I still cannot believe that entire sequence is possible. I think long term, just the play here is just as fast of an entry as possible, a fast glitch setup. Apart from that, just really being really fast with the spear on the driving both before and post glitch as well. As far as what the possible time could be, if it's just 1 for 3 with the spear like this, I'm anticipating maybe like a high 143 at least, I would think. As far as like a 2 for 3 or a 3 for 3 happening, that still seems, I think, not practical from what I can understand at the moment, unless some new entry methods are discovered here, because I believe with tasks they do it shroomless. I don't know how they're going to do that humanly. I have no idea. Regardless though, Lawrence is back on top here, and both Lawrence and Kia have been running the entire pack here. They're so far away from the rest of the crowd, but we'll see what this next year brings. one of my favorite tracks, of course. A lot of bias here, obviously. Maple Treeway no glitch has not seen an improvement still in the past year. Demon's time is still nothing short of absolutely insane. Low 213, 3 for 3 turn skip, and 3 for 3 like actual good turn skip, because you make the turn skip in of itself may not be all that fast. As you're going to see over here, they're way up over here, but check this out. Hit the boost panel, shroom, horizontal momentum hop, and bam, you've cut a lot of time. And there's an asterisk next to Flair's time per second worldwide, because this is not the Flair second worldwide ghost. Sorry, Flair. You didn't upload your time and time, man. There's no ghost data there. So the ghost in this video is third worldwide. French player Victor Wii Wheeler has the best no turn skip time in Maple Treeway. So impressive. Regardless, though, Flair is in second place. It's been good to see someone else trying to really try and close the gap now between second place and Demon, because as you're going to see, the differential of second worldwide to Demon is still over 2 full seconds. On a no glitch category, makes no sense. Demon is the GOAT of the Treeway. I've had my time here in the past, but Demon is rightfully so bowed down to the king here. The king of Maple Treeway is Demon, and his time is nothing short of literally insane. It could have been almost a 212 in this current run here if the ending lap through was better. But regardless, though, will this be improved in 2024? Absolutely not. If it's not Demon, this is going to stand for quite a while. I don't see anyone touching this for a very long time. I don't think there's any more significant strat changes for the no glitch category apart from doing the shroomless. But doing the shroomless, a couple of things. One, way harder, and two, the amount of time you even save to save the mushroom is almost inconsequential for how hard it is humanly to actually do it. So with that in mind, with over a 2 second of a lead, if Demon doesn't come back, I think this exact record would stand for at least another 3 years uncontested. That's my prediction. Fellas, prove me wrong. Do it, please. But yes, look at how stupid that top 10 is. Over 2 seconds out of second place. Truly insane. Glitch category, also not improved. Dez has a 133 here. And Demon was trying to reclaim the glitch category here, I believe, a little bit of this past year, I want to say. And he had a really heartbreaking fail. I believe on lap 3, he barely fails this shroomless recovery here. That visually that looks so sketch, and it's even harder to really pull off. There's just a lot of underlying shenanigans there to get the actual momentum to carry you, get the lip, get the airtime off of that, and barely land back on top. But this whole glitch sequence still looks absolutely crazy and stupid, and it's awesome. Long term, this will definitely go down to at least like a 128, I think, if the fast one shroomer is used 3 for 3, but practicality of that is just so low. But Demon was going for 2 for 3 fast one shroom clips, where this right now is doing the conservative like floor clip strat right here, where you get ejected from the floor to that entire thing. But if you turn around quickly and shroom, you can get a clip off the root, go really fast underneath there, and still make it, and it's way faster than doing that very slow setup for this current strategy right now. So with that in mind, will this be improved in 2024? I'm gonna say perhaps. Des could always improve. Also, this ending freaks me out every single time. Was that on purpose? I have no idea. Either way, if Demon doesn't come back and Des doesn't try to improve, I think this would stand for a little while. But there's still way more to be done here. But of course, way easier said than done. Grumble Volcano. No glitch. Also not improved. As mentioned before, you're going to see Connor's name. Connor is now back for a second worldwide here. That's the current ghost being compared against Barney, who is still the one and only sub 151 here with a 150.9 that's playing right now. And I don't think Barney was playing this in the past year, but there's been a good amount of activity here. At least from what I saw on the charts, Connor improved his time last year. Luke, Logan, I think at least one other person got pretty high in the tops, I want to say. Still, the entire attached room there looks really awesome, way faster. And I think long term this still has a little bit to go, but this category is just really finicky, just especially for the orange ramps are a source of major frustration for everyone. And obviously the ending shroom strat too just looks really crazy, and it's even more crazy to pull off in a fast fashion. With that in mind, Connor almost did reclaim this world record too in the past year. So I think this will see an improvement, at least one, this coming year. By who? It could be at least by a couple of people that are good enough, I think, to do the job here. I'm trying to think if there's any other significant strategies that are unused. I don't really know. I think they're doing mostly everything. I think you see the zipper ramp that's up on the lip over there. The task uses it, but I think for that to be actually faster humanly, I think it's not really practical because you need to do like rapid fire hopping or something. I have no idea. I forget at this point. But either way though, I always love watching this track. It's really cool, and it's even cooler to know how hard the track is to actually play. You get all the ramps to go well. So with that in mind, hats off to Barney for still having his reign for being quite a while now. I think at least 3 or 4 years. So hats off to you, Barney. Congrats, man. That's awesome. But this might be improved in the coming year. Only time will tell. We shall see. Niyake, the time-old legacy goat here of Grumble Volcano, returns and reclaims the record from Jiren. Jiren really shook up the stage here at least 1.5 years ago, and really just seemed like Niyake was kind of out of the game here for quite a while. But Miyake is persistent. The goal since 2009, adapted to the strategy changes of the outside big bike to the now inside quacker, and that time is stupid, it's crazy, it's insane. Will it be improved in the coming year? Always a possibility, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's no improvement in the coming year, but we shall see. Now, big improvement on Dry Ruins. This track is awesome. This category is awesome. This time trial in particular has seen a lot of evolution of strats akin to a coconut ball. If you're to watch a world record here, even maybe 6 or 7 years ago compared to now, the race looks quite a bit different. Now they're doing this really fast tomb exit strategy, hop really, momentum going forward, getting a very fast high trick here, and they're doing the ending cut shroomless here, landing soft drift empty. Getting a sub 37 lap shroomless is literally just bonkers. I still can't wrap my head around that. And I think this is still barely cutting the surface of what Dry Ruins will be in a future state a couple of years from now. One of the biggest strats that's still not currently used right now is, as you're going to see here at the end of lap 2, with the ending tomb strat, they get the trick here, but then instead of using your first shroom to get up onto the lip, you can actually use that trick boost to get up to the lip shroomless. However, that's really specific and really hard, but if you do it, it saves a lot of time because you save one full mushroom. And if you do that, you can be really crafty with that and probably save on the back end at least maybe 300 to 500 milliseconds or more possibly, depending on how the nature of the shroom is used. But still, a small detail here, but he gets a fast ramp hop and he lands so much further than normal that all the momentum carries him way past that for the ending shroomless. Such an impressive, humongous cut here. Even still though, there were some mistakes there and Justin's ghost was almost even before the tomb lap 3. What a wicked strong time still by Logan anyway. Hats off to you, dude. I think long term at least a 145 will happen here. There's been some activity in there in the past year, but we'll see what happens in the future. Moonview Highway has also gotten improvement in the past year. Entering the past year, it was the first 142 that was already achieved, if my memory serves me right. However, this is the first world record that beats the truck lap 3, and that's quite a significant milestone to reach. At least my view, and I guess a lot of other players' view in the past, was that you had to beat this truck lap 3 to get a 142. As you're going to see, the maneuvers of lap 3 are just really sketch to maneuver around and not get completely trampled and to still get a 142. The entire history of this track too is also pretty interesting, with this being automatic spear for the longest time, and then switching over to the flame runner, and then as you're going to see at the end of laps 1 and 2, they do a strategy called drift storage, where at the end of the last zipper the wheelie cancels, they do a slip drift, they get an empty after the trick boost wears off. This ghost comparison is wonderful because Luke doesn't do that strat, and you actually see that literal times, look, they're level right now, drift storage, empty release, and that differential there means that the wheelie ends into the mushroom, and the total time gain, I think, is at least 50 milliseconds or 60 milliseconds at its absolute peak performance, which is insane. And I've always wondered too, I don't see why that wouldn't be a faster trade-off to do that lap 3, but obviously you're going to be nervous by barely beating that, barely getting the car. I don't know how you even pull an MT off cutting in that little space there so close, but that's just so impressive. Long term, this can still be improved by a little bit, maybe a 142.6 without any major strategy changes. Regardless, what an impressive record. Will this be contested in the coming year? I think the one to do it would be Luke to come back and try to contend this record once more. I think Luke has tried here and there. I don't see why both Casey and Braxton can't do it either, but only time will tell as well. This record in the past year has also improved by none other than the legend Zeke. Zeke, the king of Bowser's Castle, and he just barely misses the first 219. He gets a 220.001, and I feel like even that's not even like the biggest storyline. I think the biggest storyline of this past year is that ghost right there, Japanese player Nugget. Nugget has been the persistent player for a couple of years now, and back when I talked to Zeke a couple of years ago, even before Nugget was even near a 220, he was claiming Nugget as potentially one of the biggest contenders to beat him long term here. And his prediction was right. As you're going to see, Nugget here is ahead by a lot lap 3, and it's pretty tragic for Nugget because he misses an MT on the spiral and the ending is not good, and he barely misses out on getting his first world record here, his first world record overall, and getting the first 219. So literally insane. But what's also really cool is that BC Wii No Glitch now is back to Japanese top 2, and I don't think that's happened in probably at least 13, 14 years or so. Back when Stro and Chelsea had the record here, I think they were jointly 1 and 2 for a short period of time before Brendan was in the mix there, American player Brendan. Shouts to you, man. But regardless, though, this is still one of the absolute hardest time trials in the entire game for good reason. There's so many different strats going on almost every single time. Your time to breathe is just here on the straightaway. Apart from that, it's high tier action every single second. Everything is so difficult, way too much to explain in a short period of time, but regardless though, I think the visuals will show enough. Long term here, this will definitely be a low 219 or 218 100%. Once you get everything really pristine and nice. I believe Nugget's overall best splits here, and the potential is almost a 218 already. I want to give a shout out as well to American player Sean, because he had a lot of good paces too during this past year. I saw some of his streams in the past year too, and he would spit out paces every other run as well. So I think multiple players can get a 219 here. Sadly, Zeke has kind of been MIA for at least the past year or more after setting this record now. So I hope Zeke comes back in the future to try and get the first 219. That would be awesome. But regardless, I think this is the last year of the 220s. I think the first 219 happens in 2024. By who? That story is still being written. So who's the author? Who knows? Let's see. But regardless, this top 10 is now all 220s. So that's a nice difference from last year. So the player base is slowly catching up. BC Wii Glitch has also gotten an improvement in the past year. Emil, I believe, gets it back because I think Emil beat Jared. Jared had the mock bike. Emil uses Flame Runner, and then Fox reclaimed it, his first record in forever, and then Emil got it back from Fox. I believe I got that sequence right in my head. And just look at this. Doing the shroomless glitch with Funky Kong is way harder than Daisy Mock Bike, and just this entire track is just way more conducive to driving with the Flame Runner as opposed to Mock Bike. And now that the players are really going out of their way to really know how to do the shroomless glitch with Funky Kong, you really are cashing out on being way faster on the rest of the track as well. So with that in mind, I believe the potential here is at least for a 207. I think long term that's definitely where the direction is going to go on this track. As far as unused strategies, if you remember from the no glitch category, doing the DK ramp on the left side, entering the entire half pipe section here, you can do that physics on the right hand side, like where they go for a glitch here. Although I think it probably saves a marginal amount of time because you're going a longer distance diagonally to even hit the ramp in the first place. So I think if you were to save anything, it might be picking up pennies, so to say. You know, it's not really worth your while. But who knows? I could be entirely wrong. That's kind of me theorizing right now. But apart from that, I don't think anything else is necessarily unused for this category in particular. Yeah, so I think the long-term state is going to be hopefully a 207 long-term, but even still, the entire player base on the top 10 here is not Funky Flame yet because, as mentioned, doing the shroomless cut with Funky is way more precise than with Daisy Mock, but clearly it is learnable by looking at the records now, but it's just way more of a compromise and a difficult task as compared to the Mock Bike here. Regardless though, a 208.6 is really crazy here in this track. Will it stand for the rest of this year? Potentially, we'll see. But I think it still has definitely a lot of potential to be improved in the coming year. But we shall see. We'll see what happens in the coming year. Now, another track we've had a lot of improvements on is Rainbow Road, and Flair improved the record now to a 224.2. And if you see the asterisks here, that's Japanese player Kaede's second worldwide time. Unfortunately, his ghost was also not uploaded for some reason, so I took Kaede's old world record here of like a higher 0.3, I want to say it was, just for like a filler there. Is almost the same comparison anyway. Regardless though, this track is still really cool to watch. The entire momentum outward drifting kart strategy here at the beginning mushroom still looks nothing short of literally just bonkers, for lack of a better term. And I think long term, I think both Flair and Kaede would say that a 223 could happen, because I think now the best laps 2 and 3 by both players is a very low 0.9, I want to say. It's fleeting me for what the best lap 1 is, but I think it's like a mid 0.1, I believe. But as far as truly optimizing things here, this whole entire figure 8 section here and gain the star pole boost off of them to gain the faster time cuts here is really precise. And here's the thing too, is that if you notice, most of the run here, they're always in some kind of a boost, whether it's from a zipper, it's from a trick boost, or it's from a main turbo boost, or from the shroom boost doing the shroom here as well. There's very little downtime of not being in a boost here, and I think that's where the kart really has been able to shine to still be the top combo to use, because if you look at the tasks, the bike crushes the bike, sorry, the bike crushes the kart, all the way around, sorry. But you can do that kart shroom with a bike, but it's, I don't want to say borderline impossible, but it's almost there. So I think long term, I think humanly, it's going to stay a kart unless some reliable way to do the beginning shroom with a bike is implemented and to be able to contend with a kart. Either way though, This record is really impressive, but Kaede is slowly cutting down the time. I think this won't be improved this year. I think Kaede will get it back, and I think Flair will be there to answer the call once more. The battle between these two has been wonderful to see the past couple of years. We shall see what happens. The biggest time cut of 2023 Mario Kart Wii Time Trial is this right here. For the simple fact that we have the first 2 for 3. That's right, 2 for 3 Rainbow Road glitch. And they use an outward drifting bike, they use a momentum into the wall, bounce over the wall, barely gain the checkpoints to work out, and they do that 2 for 3 now. And I believe it was my prediction last year that this would at least see a 2 for 3, so I was right in that instance. That was monumental when Danny Boy got this run. It'll be even more monumental when the first 3 for 3 happens, because that means that this track will go to lower than 1 minute. If I were to ask, okay, any player from a couple of years ago with like the Quacker glitch strategy, that was like a 2-minute 14 or 2-minute 10 or whatever, couple years, this glitch will be under 1 minute. Everyone will say no way. Now, 3 for 3, that's definitely going to happen. This looks so simple watching this, but it's way harder. What's interesting is that Eli uses the Phantom, and Danny Boy uses the Shooting Star. And I don't know which one is really better. I have no idea. I guess both Eli and Danny Boy could explain the rationale for both bikes. But either way, Eli got the second 2 for 3 and literally almost got the record there. Being less than 100 milliseconds to that, it's just stupid. It's insane. But we'll see what happens there in the coming year. On to the retros. Who doesn't love some retros? I love retros. So, starting off on Peach Beach, Casey's record still stands. And I think this coming year, it'll still stand. Guy is the former world record holder here. He's had the record quite a number of times. And as mentioned previously in Mario Circuit, Guy hasn't really played for quite a while. So if he doesn't really return, I think Casey will definitely have the clutches here for a bit longer on Peach Beach. Definitely a couple of players could possibly contend if they were to grind for a long time. I believe Luke is already third here. I think his time was during last year or just barely before last year. Long term, this can be a 112.5, but any more than that without any new strategy being discovered or used, I think Casey himself would probably say it's a little bit like it's reaching for too much, you know. But still, it's a 112.656, I think, and this run is really great already, but still can be improved by a little bit more. But I think this will stay unless Casey returns for unknown reasons. I think he'll try other tracks, as we'll see a little bit later on. But regardless, though, there's been some improvements on this top 10. But always awesome to see if more new players were to try to contest the crown. We shall see. Also, speaking of Guy, the glitch category was also not improved this past year. I'm still in disbelief that this track is now below 1 minute with the glitch. I still remember when I first saw the glitch here years and years ago, using the trees here to do the glitch, and it's like, what in the world is going on, man? And long term, this can still go down a bit if a 3 for 3 is done, where you use the downwards tree on lap 1. But still, this is so precise to do. I feel like I used that same verbiage for a lot of things in the game, but just trying to show even like a more casual audience that like, oh, you shroom into a tree, oh, you hit the arch and you go down and you go. But no, like, that is crazy. A lot can go wrong. You can get a high clip, you can make the lap not count, you can fall out of bounds through the finish line. There's way many other things that can go horribly wrong on this category. So a lot has to go right for that 59-second time to happen. So hats off to Guy for still having the record here. I feel like this is anyone's game to try and get the record here at any given time. I think multiple players can possibly do it. There's been some activity near the top here in the past year, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's an improvement in the coming year. This track I was really thinking was going to be improved, for the simple fact that this ghost comparison is second worldwide with Casey, and Casey is 2 milliseconds off of David right here. And it's a tragic comparison at the very end of lap 3. David's run has lasted for quite a while. Might be one of the longest Yoshi Falls world records right now. I'm going to look right here. It has stood, yeah, oh my god. It stood for almost 1,200 days as of the day of this recording. So truly insane. I don't think David has played the game for quite a while. But still, Casey was getting a lot of good paces in the past year here, randomly, and he almost got it by just barely 2 milliseconds. Just believe me, watch this ending here. It's a matter of the chain. It's crazy. So this is David here, obviously, and then there's Casey's ghost. Look at this here. this watch. And Casey gets the chain, and because they're so close to the finish line, he was gaining speed, but it was just 2 milliseconds off of tying or possibly improving if the distance was a little bit longer there. So crazy overall. This will go down next year, I think, by Casey. Others can try and get it too. Shout out to Exploder. He's been making a lot of improvements here as well in the past year. Anything is possible. This record was also not improved in the past year. Sosis has still been pretty far ahead of the pack. What was actually interesting to me is I didn't realize that Blaze's former world record here is still second worldwide. That's really impressive for a simple fact that I'm going to look at it right here. Blaze is, yeah. So this time right here for Blaze in the comparison is close to 4 years old. And there's been quite a lot of activity here on the tops here in 4 years. And Blaze's time still holds up really well today. It's second in the world, of course. Why wouldn't it? So, but even still, this can definitely go to a 52.6. I think Sosa's even failed runs that could have borderline been a 52.6. The slip on the jagged edges at the beginning of lap 3 that Justin found a long time ago is not used as of yet in this run. It saves maybe 60 milliseconds at peak, I believe, from what I remember. And so I think long term the play here is going to be like at least a mid 52.6. By who? Who knows? Who knows? But this top 10 is really close again. I love to see it. A lot of players have been improving in the past year. So I think this could potentially go down in next year. I was really rooting for Steve in the past year too. We'll see if Steve gets his first world record. We'll see about that. Rooting for you, Steve. GB2 glitch. This still blows my mind. For the sheer fact they go off the finish line pole, you reverse back, you land, and it counts. First off. Second off, just the sheer speed that you do that, it's just mind-blowing. And third off is the fact that only 2 people, I believe, have done this for a time. Because I want to say from third worldwide down, they don't do this returning glitch strategy. Everyone else does either a 1 for 3 or a 2 for 3. I think a 1 for 3. The only 2 for 3 is Leaf. He has a 50.8 or something, I want to say. We'll look at the top 10 here in a second. Digits are fleeting in my memory right now. But still, 49-second time, so impressive. I don't think this will go down in the coming year unless Logan tries again or Vincent tries again. Regardless, so let's see. Take a look here. Yeah, so Leaf has a 50.8. That's a 2 for 3. That stood forever. But we'll see what happens in the coming year on GB2. Mario Raceway had quite the treat of an improvement. So Sosa's, his time in this comparison now lasted for quite a while. And finally, Vincent V Barone, not Vincent N from the last track. Big Vince gets his first world record not overall, but his first Mario Raceway world record. And the story here is quite fascinating. So Vincent has always been really good at Raceway for the longest time, and he got really close to getting the record here a couple of years ago. And it was back when it was still a .3, and he got so many fails on the stream a couple of years back, and eventually Sosa's had this massive improvement of over 100 milliseconds to this .1 here. And Vincent pretty much, I might be speaking for him, but at least in his comment on his video, was kind of like throwing the towel for a while. And so seeing Vincent come back here, I was so excited to see if that storyline were to kind of pick up again and see if you're to kind of get close. And Vincent got within like 10 milliseconds or so. His entire top 10 or top 5 on stream was flooded with very low .2s. He finally gets the job done, and if you saw on lap 1, there's not a new strat. It's the instant slip from the start. That's been known for a very long time now, but it hasn't been implemented as of yet into runs. It was mostly used with people who use Daisy Mach Bike here. I guess it's a little bit easier with that, but you can do it pretty easily with Funky Flame as well. Regardless though, this will be a 140 long term, by who to be determined. But this is great. I haven't seen Sosa's try and play this again as of yet, so maybe Vince will have this for a while. We shall see. But still, really, really impressive. Sosa's, his time stood for at least maybe 700 or more days around there, if I had to guess. I think it was at least close to 2 years or a little bit longer, I believe. But still, what a crazy time. Hats off to Vince. We'll see what happens here in the future, in the coming year. Coming up now to the Banana Cup, we have Sherbet Land. There's been no improvements here. Sosa's still has this track now. Actually, I think Sosa's, his time here, did it reach 1,000 days? Let's see. Let me get some water as well as I check. Whoa! Whoa, I didn't know it was that. Okay, all right. Check this out. This run here by Sosa's, in July, it'll be 5 years old. I didn't realize it was gonna be that old. As of today's recording, it's almost 1,700 days old. I did not even realize it was that old. Wow, man. So Sosa's got the record for the first time here, August of 2017. So if we reach August, if he's not beaten, he'll have the reign here for 7 years. And this was the first track Sosa's got a world record on as well. So shout out to Sosa's, one of the all-time best players of the game, for good reason. And this run is still insane, but now that we're watching it back a couple of years removed, you can definitely see how this could still be improved. And shout out to Felix, he's been really chopping his time down for a very long period of time, and he got finally the second 203 on this track. And Felix is literally within striking distance now of Sosa's in his record here. I've been rooting for Felix for a long time to get his first world record. He got so close on Parkway, but then new strats kind of changed that, but he's been trying that track as well from what I see. And he picked up this track, and I really don't see why Felix can't get the record here. Like, look at this. Felix is ahead lap 3 of the world record. Like, look at this, you know? So I'm rooting for Felix as well. I think Sosa's definitely has way more in the tank here if you're to try and play it again in the future. To my memory, I don't think there's any significant changes that can be done here. I could be wrong. Memory is fleeting. I have no idea. But regardless, though, this track has the most amount of chain wheelies in the entire game. That eventually adds up, even though the chains aren't as significant of a speed difference compared to the Flame Runner or Mach Bike as a comparison. Regardless, though, I think, bold prediction, this will be improved in the coming year by Felix. I'm putting you on the spot, but I think you can do it, dude. So let's see what happens, man. Also, shout outs to Jack. He almost got his first 203 as well. I think both of them can definitely contend. We will see what they can do this year. Glitch category did have a pretty big improvement. So this is almost a 3-second cut. Okay. What I want you to watch is two things. First off, a lot of time save will come from every glitch setup just being executed way faster. If you're to go through mkwrs.com, scroll down, watch all the older times as well, you're going to see they're going to be going up to the thing, wiggle, 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 go back, wait, okay, shroom now, right? And so with every single glitch that's first off discovered, obviously you're going to be taking a lot more slowly. You're trying to feel out the strategy and the approach. Extrapolate years later, now the entry and the setup is pristine, is crisp, you know what you're doing. That's where all the time save is going to be coming from as well. Now, I love this. I love this so much. The recovery, I don't know why I go bonkers over this, but it looks so cool. Just look, just watch. Hop, 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 empty. So normally what you would do is just go back to where the checkpoint would be, stand still, empty, turn around, finish line. But instead you're maintaining your momentum by hopping around, you're charging it empty, and that recovery in and of itself, I think, saves at least 1 second or maybe a little bit more. Shout out to Jack, dude. That's so impressive. We'll see what that brings in the coming year. We shall see. Shy Guy Beach has not been improved in the past year for the no glitch category, and Casey has a lot of records now at this point in the game, and Sosa, this is another one of his tracks he had for quite a while. And when Casey got this here, I believe it stood for a very short period of time. I think Sosa's answered almost right away on this track, and then I want to say they traded hands 2 more times or 1 more time. Let me check. Also, if you guys are liking this video, thank you. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and a lot more videos are on the way, I promise. Let's see. So, Casey, no, it was Dara. That's who it was. Shout out to Dara, by the way. I thought that happened before Casey. So, Casey got it back from Dara, and then Sosa's eventually got the first 0.3 here with the 399 with the ghost comparison right now. And then Casey answered back 2 weeks later, so a lot of movement has happened here in the past couple of years. Yeah, so I believe once Dara just had the precedent of finally getting the record here with this entire wonderful journey here that he had on Shy Guy Beach, I think he was kind of hanging up the towel at that point. So I think it's going to be Casey and Sosa's show for the long term, at least for now, on this track. I think this will stand at least for another year, unless one of them randomly just gets Shy Guy Beach fever to play it. But apart from that, I don't see this being improved in the coming year, but I'm welcomed to be proven wrong. Glitch category of this year has also had no improvements. And I had to look at it to make sure I got it right. Core's time, I believe, is his time from last year as well. So the top 2 is unchanged here. And this is... I still cannot believe this can even be a thing. So if you've never seen this glitch before, you're in for a real treat. It'll come up in lap 3. Before that, though, I think this will stand for another year. Vincent had just really good driving that saves a lot of time before the glitch lap 3, and his glitch was also pretty fast. So maybe like a lower 114 if your glitch is really fast and the driving before that is even faster. But I don't see what else is going to be improving the time here unless something else is new. Well, check this out. Let's check this out. Almost drowning, clip, get enough far back, you land, you reverse back for the checkpoint. The Excel is so fast, no standstill, MT, and that's how you glitch on Shy Guy Beach. Crazy, I know. When I saw this for the first time, it's crazy. I forget if this happened first before Rainbow Road or the opposite all the way around because of using the outside drifting bike momentum off the wall, get the clip. Regardless, though, what a crazy category to still watch. Hats off to you, Vincent, for having that category unlocked for quite a while now. Delfino Square is also another category that's not been improved in the past year, and for good reason, is the fact that the state of Delfino Square is a little bit dire, in my opinion, just because, of course, the nature of the game is to progress, have harder strategies, and not to time down. Understandable. However, this strategy right here is so hard to do. Check this out. Trimless dock, barely land, drift, brake, drift again, and go around that. That is such a, that's really one of the hardest. I'm gonna make a bold claim. I'll make a bold claim. This, without question, this has to be in the top 3 hardest no glitch strategies to pull off in 3 years, because I think it was summer of 2021 when the dock was first used. In practically 3 years, only 2 people have used it in a run. Different than Maple Treeway, where the turn skip also has quite a huge gap, but way more than 2 people have used it in their time. Okay, this is just such a hard strategy where you're kind of gate capped at this point to play this track. Vincent Barone, back on Raceway, he got really good at this track really fast last year, and he got a really good 204.2. Almost, he has second worldwide for the no dock time. Almost beats Luke's time here, actually. So, with that in mind, even Vincent tried to learn this strat from what I understand, and it was just way too convoluted and way too random to really sink the time into actually doing it. So that's a shame too. For that reason, I think if Logan doesn't try here, I don't see why Luke would even waste his time here of having such a giant lead, 2 for 3 dock, and wanting to get back other tracks. So I think both players won't really even bother themselves this coming year, and no one is actually going to bother to try and learn this really hard strat. It's just so hard and inconsistent. So I think this top 10 will be shifting near the bottom in the coming years just by using no dock. But apart from that, I don't know. We shall see. So, Waluigi Stadium, no glitch, wasn't improved until a couple of days ago. I recorded these times about a week and a half ago, and I didn't think this track was going to go down, but Connor himself improved. And it looks like Connor wants to finally gun for the 147. And that's going to be nothing short of insane this year if Connor does the deed here. I want to highlight too, big shout outs to Ace as well. Ace was the first one to beat Toadon's ancient 148.7 world record here years ago. And he's second worldwide here in the comparison here. And what you're going to see is, I believe Ace was even ahead lap 3. Almost into the zipper entry on lap 3. So, yeah, crazy. So, there's just so many moving parts here. This is definitely one of the absolute hardest technical no-glitch categories in the entire game, bar none, for good reason. And to optimize all these things is just so nuanced and tricky. I still feel like a lot of these things that you do on this track doesn't make all that much sense. Like, one turn skip can look really fast, but in the comparison, you actually lose quite a bit. Still kind of strange, but still, anyway. I'm fully believing in Connor to try and get a 147 this year. That's his intention right now. But hopefully Ace will try and play again, because look at this. Ace is ahead into the turn skip. Look at this. Crazy, right? So Ace more than certainly can get the record back if he were to try to contend again. Apart from that, maybe some others might be close contenders here. The upper half of the top 5, top 6 have seen some newer faces now. It's just a matter of them trying to extend themselves and try to see what they can do on this track. But I still think Connor and Ace are just a thread ahead of the pack here for being able to go the distance even further on this track. One category, though, that will not be improved this coming year is going to be this track. I'm willing to bet money on this. This is one of the hardest things to do in the entire game. It's 2 for 3 glitch on Waluigi Stadium, done by none other than Hunter. And Hunter's grind was crazy here. He got the most ideal scenario for the second glitch, where, as you're going to see, he's going to fall out of bounds to get a good respawn. And I think as he coins the term falling into the chocolate cake because of all the layers of mud and everything, you'll see it. Regardless, though, Shout out to Ray again. Wii Wheeler, second worldwide. Truly, truly crazy. This is one of the most precise things to do in the entire game. And who knows, maybe Ray will be the second 2 for 3 here and beat Hunter's time. Maybe Logan will go out of the way to try and get this back. But just from how hard Hunter tried to grind for this, almost like a tedious thing to do, because check this out. This here is really, really precise. Check this out. The timed hop off of here, landing through for the checkpoint, landing, being respawned behind the zipper ramp, going back to the last key checkpoint, turning around, getting a lap to count. Literally just so insane. Has, I think, like a almost 8-second lead or so. Nothing short of insane here. Again, I would not at all be surprised if this stands race for a couple of years, because the time investment and time sink for this is going to be insane, even for the most seasoned glitch time trialers. So we shall see, as I've been saying for almost in this entire video. Moving on to the Leaf Cup, we have Desert Hills, and this had some surprising improvements. So shout out to Breakson once more. Breakson got his the first time holding Desert Hills, no glitch category here, and what came out of that was, I think they traded hands once, and then we have Sosa's his record time playing right now. Let me get some water as I check. Let's see. No, actually. So Breakson got it, held it for about 3 weeks. Sosa's answers with a smaller time cut, and then 10 days later he has this current time right now, and this current time is the first Desert Hills world record that has a 3 for 3 fast wheelie cut. What in the world does that mean? Well, I think this comparison here is going to play out pretty nicely here. Look at how much Sosa saved right there. They were almost even into the sand dunes, and then he's almost 200 milliseconds ahead into lap 3. Doing that strategy is really precise. If my memory serves me right, I think even tasters say that it's a bit of a more convoluted strat to try and get, even with doing slow down tasks, from what I remember being told a long time ago. Regardless though, as far as the exact strat to how to do this, it's very hard. What's important here is you're maintaining your wheelie momentum into the second mound, and you're maintaining that higher 90, mid 90 kmh to go really fast in the air. The recovery as well at the end over there is literally insane. He barely misses hitting the heavy dirt and slowing down and filling the world record. Like, that's one of the most clutch endings to a world record I've ever seen in a very long time. Moving on now to the shortcut category. This also was a surprise. This came out of nowhere. Justin improved this record by almost 400 milliseconds, and you'll see why in lap 3. But first off, I think everyone can give the biggest shout outs of all time to Justin, because he's been one of the all-time best players of the game RTA for so many years. But really, in recent years, his tasking accolades and strategy discovery, all that has been so impressive. Like, what Justin can see and theorize and do, along with the entire task community too. Shout out to all you guys. You guys do awesome work and further advancing the game for the limits overall, but also helping the RTA real-time side of us doing the time trials and real-time on console. So Justin has had very sporadic, it seems, gameplay on console. He's been tasking the past couple of years. The reason why this improved by so much is this, is a 1-frame hit on the out of bounds, I think where 2 apexes hit, gets the bounce off, not counted out of bounds. You don't get the slowdown in the sand, and you save all that time. Long term, obviously that's faster 3 for 3, but from how stupidly precise that is, it's going to be the longest time until 3 for 3 of that is done. That's been done years ago though. It's not really a new thing that happened, but regardless though, it allowed Justin to be even further from second place. I think definitely Justin, Logan, Brakeson can all contend here to try to improve further, and David too. But I don't know. I want to see why that possibly couldn't stand for the rest of this year. Just from how much of a gap that is now to try and do 3 for 3 normal cuts, it's going to be a little bit difficult there. Moving on now to BC3. Also trading up the guard here between, again, Luke and Logan as well, as they've done on a lot of tracks previously. So I believe entering this year, Luke had it with a 3.66, and then Logan got a 2.22 this current run here, I believe. And then later on in the year, Luke got it back with this 0.1 now. And as you can see, this is a newer strategy that has happened. From what I can recall, I don't think Luke's 3.66 used that really fast ramp strat. Obviously, as we were talking about before, Justin found, I guess, that strategy to do that. Getting a low ramp there isn't entirely new from what I can understand, because Tass has been doing it to land on the blue wall at that section, as you'll see on lap 2. But he did find a way just to get a fast clip on the edge and land almost instantly on the ground, and that's plenty faster than doing a drifting trick off the fat part of the ramp. So definitely this unlocked the potential to get a 215 here. It's just going to be a matter of having really good ramps 3 for 3. Like, that was way better than lap 1, I think. So really good driving, really low jumps. That sounds kind of dumb to say, but if you watch closely in the Ghost comparison, you can get a higher low jump where it's a bit more air time, like moderate low jumps or really low jumps where you land almost instantly on the platform. You can wheelie right away, get more speed at wheelie speed, and you're just landing sooner anyway. So I think long term, definitely gonna be a 215 here. Maybe both players will try to go for a 215 this year. We will see. But look at this, like, Logan is still ahead by a little bit here, but Luke is going to make up that differential in the end with a good ramp there and then some chains at the end. So this category is still pretty tricky to optimize really well. Still a lot more in reserve here, but definitely a really tricky category to play. It's much more simple than a lot more harder rather than meets the eye when you watch this track. So yeah, I think this coming year, will I predict 215? Maybe. Sure, why not? Someone prove me right. Someone on this top 10 right now, this year, work on this, get a 215. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I think of all the categories, I think the category that has the biggest shot of not having any improvement out of everything in this coming year is this. Logan got the first 3 for 3 shroomless BC3 cut world record, and to say I don't have the words to express how impressive of an accomplishment this is, especially for the mere fact that I believe this jumped directly from a 1 for 3 to a 3 for 3. It was like a 1.4 or 1.5 second improvement all in one swoop. And I believe it was maybe 2010, I believe, when Japanese player Mander discovered you can do the shroomless with a trick, and he uploaded a video to his channel about it. And so it took, what, 12, 13 years later for someone to do it in a run, let alone clutching a 3 for 3 run. Like, what in the world? So with that in mind, I think really the only 3 players that might bother to ever beat Logan here, apart from him and Logan himself, is Emil, Flair, and Brakeson. Yes, those 3. Because I think all 3 had expressed interest at one point to try and do at least a 2 for 3, potentially a 3 for 3, but I don't have the words to express how stupidly impressive and how difficult it is to do this right here. So I think this can definitely be a legacy record if he were to never try and touch it ever again. I don't know who's going to bother, let alone bother for multiple months or however long it takes to try and beat this, because it's not like you make it 3 for 3 and the driving is bad. This made 3 for 3, the driving is solid and gets a good amount of chain wheelies, so who knows, dude? I have no idea. I think that's going to stand for quite a while. We shall see. Parkway, this had its improvement too. I believe Luke had this entering 2023, and Luke came back to the track and had a marginal improvement of close to 100 milliseconds here. And Logan has second worldwide as well. Logan was the first 210 here, and then Luke got it back with the new shroom strat that's done now. This was really cool when it was first implemented. This really shook up the Parkway charts quite a bit, and has allowed the practicality for probably long-term closer to a 219, I would suspect. It's fleeting me what the best splits give right now, but that whole sequence is awesome, and it saves a lot of time. So with that in mind, will this stand next year? I don't think so. I think Luke might try to improve. It seems like he's not entirely satisfied here yet. I could be wrong. I think Logan can come back at any time here, decide to maybe try to improve it. Third off, as mentioned in Sherbet Land, I'm really rooting for Felix as well. I think Felix has been due for his time to get his first world record overall. And he was so close to doing it on this track before this new shroom strategy came about. So I'm rooting for Felix as well, so we'll see what happens here. But regardless though, this is just quite a graceful track to play. And time trial specifically, this is a wonderful time trial. I love it myself. Online is pretty trash, but for time trial, it's a top tier time trial track. Apart from the shroom spot. Apart from that, on new strategy, you can actually do airtime at this little corner cut over here. It saves maybe 60, 70 milliseconds per lap, I want to say. It's kind of similar to what you do natively in the N64 version of the game. They hop over most of that in that game too, and they do it empty out of the grass in that game. But anyway though, still 210.5, pretty strong time, not gonna lie. Like, if this were to stand, I also wouldn't be surprised. So there's still more to be tapped into here, but for now, I think they've already done a good amount of progress here by using the newer shroom strategy. So we'll see what the category brings in the coming year. Moving on to the Parkway, I also think this will not go down in the coming year. This record, I think, very recently passed over 1,000 days. So congrats to Invincible for his first 1,000-day-old world record here. From what I can really tell, the top 10 here has been pretty dormant. So I think this will stand for a long period of time still. But still, this entire glitch category is insane. It's very charming because you're doing almost the same sequence as in the N64 version of the game. But except here, palm tree clip, horizontal wall clip on the finish line, fall through into the cave, and then you count the lap. What an awesome way to time trial this track in Mario Kart Wii. I just love how similar it is to what you do in the cave natively on the Mario Kart 64 version of the game, of the track rather. So yeah, I think this will stand for another year because no one has really bothered this track in the longest time. So I'm welcome to be proven wrong. Maybe Invincible or Bryce will try once more. Moving on now to GCN Mario Circuit. This was almost improved in the past year. Shout out to Big Pork, second worldwide here. This comparison here is tragic. Every word of tragic here. With Logan's time here, when he said it, it was the first world record that beats the Piranha here on lap 3. And after that, appropriately so, Logan doesn't go for the double mount here on lap 3 in this world record. But what you're going to see is something pretty nutty for what lap 3 happens in Big Bork's run here. Long term, for sure, this will be a 129 without fail. Now that they're using the double mounts here, obviously really hard, but it can definitely be done. I think even longer term, like really optimized, probably at least like a 129.8 or a 0.7 will definitely be done here for sure, without a doubt. So check this out. They are tied into lap 3. Both are the best pace into lap 3 from what my memory serves me. And here's the thing. Big Bork is now ahead. He's second worldwide, okay? So he's controlling the pace here. Gonna get his first world record, right? Still ahead here. And he goes for triple mounds and he gets it. But then he gets unlucky airtime on there and he misses the last MT. Oh my gosh. Like, dude, when I watched that back for Big Bork's run, like, I was so defeated. I felt so bad for him. Like, he could have gone like at least like a 130 point mid one probably. So 2023 is Big Bork's year. I think he'll get his first world record on this track. And then I think long term we'll see a 129 maybe in the next 1 or 2 years. What you're going to see here is two things. One is this category was improved. I'll address that first in the past year by Logan. Getting the first 129. And this glitch is every bit of awesome. I'm so happy that this track finally has a glitch after so long. Just look at that. Like, good grief. Like, that's just awesome. Of course, the recovery is really hard to get a fast recovery from. So this category definitely still has a lot more to be done. Especially if more than a 1 for 3 is performed. But where you're going to notice, number 2 is second worldwide is none. And the reason why for that is because no one else has done the glitch yet on this track. So let me consult the world record history here. I want to see when he first did this. It was February of 2023. So in almost exactly a year now, Logan is the one and only person to do this glitch in a run. And I think the only other track where that happened was also on BC64 glitch, which we'll see later on. So Logan has not been contested at all here for this category. I think he randomly came back here during the past year, I guess, just to get the 129, probably, if I were to guess anything. But I think long term here, this can definitely be improved by quite a lot. But it's still quite a shame that despite how cool the strategy is, it doesn't save all that much time in the end, but it's still faster regardless to get a 129 anyway. But like that time right now, they can beat that no glitch if we get a really good run. So long term, it'll definitely go down. By who knows. Lastly, onto the Lightning Cup. We have Mario Circuit 3, where we had no improvement, but we almost had an improvement. We see Casey here, and Casey is like, what, 5 or 4 milliseconds off of the world record here. And the ending here is insane. You're going to see why. So, first off, a lot of talented players on this track. I think now officially half the worldwide tops is finally a 117. I think Luke was the first one to get a 117 2017 or 2018. Let's see. Yeah, April 2017, almost 7 years ago, Luke was the first one to get a 117 here. And then eventually, Vincent Barone was the one to defeat Luke here, which was awesome. They traded hands a couple of times, and then Luke kind of pulled away. Fortunately, Vincent had some, I guess, muscle memory issues with playing the game and his hands and everything, but I think that's a lot improved now. He's able to contend much more on other tracks. And then Casey came into the fold. He improved, almost got the world record. Look at this. Casey is ahead into the boost panel, and he loses after the boost panel. From what I can understand, there's very micro bounces on the zipper from what I can understand, and the very small micro bounces, it cost Casey like 10 milliseconds or something stupid or less. So I think that will be improved in the coming year. Peach Gardens now also had an improvement by Casey. So Casey had this last year. He successfully transitioned this track to be a Flame Runner manual track from a Spear automatic track. This track is also awesome, a really fun track to play, and I think the rich history here is really interesting. I really want to do like a video on this category and like all categories too, but this one for sure is really cool. Like I think this is one of the most unique comparisons of any time trial, especially because it's a no-glitch category, and the the drive modes for the ending result is so close. The bottleneck for Spear automatic, in case you don't know, is the chain chomp lap 3. From what I understand, I believe Alex already hit the chain chomp once, maybe. I think I could be wrong, but anyway. That just makes this more difficult of a task for automatic to gain even more time lap 3. So with that in mind though, like Flame Runner really catches up at the end of lap 2. Like you can really see how the MT boost does a lot for the Flame Runner, but then how much the top speed and automatic driving really affords you to be a top speed for a lot of the time on the track. And the Spear gains so much time being in a straight line, almost shimmying back and forth in between the maze heads here. And look at how far ahead it is over here. But then the different MT strats now, like, this is such a crazy time to watch. Vincent Barone again also was very close to contending the time here. I think this will be improved also in 2024. I think maybe Vincent will try again here, rooting for you and also for Casey as well. I think unfortunately Automatic has seen better days here. I think now it's almost entirely out of reach, but once it's at a 158.7, I think Spear Automatic is unfortunately just completely out of it, unless there's a maneuver to still be fast enough after the chain chomp to be worthwhile. But we'll see what the future holds on Peach Gardens. I need some water first. I've been talking a lot. 1 second. And again, if you guys are enjoying this video, please give me one of these. I put a lot of TLC, a lot of time into this video, so hope you guys are enjoying these. This is my 5th year doing this, so always a treat for sure, So, this track. I think this will also not be improved in the coming year, unless Logan bothers to randomly improve it. I don't see why he would. Probably has other goals he wants to try and do. For the simple fact that the strat here with the MT into the corner clip here that you'll see, I think on lap 2 he does it, it's just so insane, and it saves a stupid amount of time. And obviously long term, this faster shroom strategy, the shortcut strategy with the MT is obviously to play 3 for 3. It's just very tricky to do, but it'll allow for at least a low 203 to happen. But as far as anyone bothering to try, I think eventually people will go out of their way. Maybe a second worldwide player, Japanese player Anthus may try to go out of the way for that, but look at how fast and crazy that is. It's just so precise to do that, but it saves a stupid amount of time. Like, look at the lap differential there from lap 1 to lap 2, and lap 2 wasn't even driven optimally anyway, so there's definitely a lot more to be squeezed out of this category for sure. So I know before this strat was used in runs, I believe ZQ was second worldwide, and he was very close to getting his first world record as well. I don't see why ZQ couldn't do it as well if he were to grind out this MT shortcut strategy. He could definitely do it 100%. And for sure, Logan were to come back or others were to try and learn this main turbo strategy, they could definitely do it because he only does it 1 for 3. So I almost feel like it's borderline like free, not really free, but you get what I mean. Like for these really awesome players, they could really get like a very strong 1 for 3 or even a 2 for 3 and just slide in for a WR that way. So either this won't be improved at all because no one bothers to try for that strat, or there's an improvement. I don't know. This category, I think, is less likely to see an improvement in the coming year. I think Logan wanted a 157 long term here. Maybe he'll randomly try and play this track this year. Who knows? Apart from that, Darren got really close within striking distance of 0.4. But I don't think Darren has played like for years. I don't know. But he's the only recent player here, I think. Because I think former record holder Spitfire, I think his time is a couple of years old. I don't think he really plays anymore either. So, apart from that, I don't know who else will be trying to go out of their way to improve this, I think. As it stands right now, this category is really strong. There's still more to be done. It's just that the two biggest time saves are this. One is going to be a fast recovery after the cut. Making the cut here isn't even the hard part. It's getting a really fast recovery. The cutoff time is the biggest issue. Look, you go through the wall, that's all good and well. But this recovery here, the low clip and cutting tight like that is so hard to do. The other part is the bridge here. You see how slow that was just to try and get the angle here for the first turn afterward? Like, that's really hard to do. But if you get a clean wheelie, especially with no bounces, that saves a stupid amount of time. Because if not, you're bouncing a lot, you're slowly decelerating constantly, and then you're trying to re-accelerate from the lower speed. I've always thought maybe you can like chain a drift onto the bridge and like glide at the end. I don't know, maybe that's not possible, but regardless though, this run is really clean. It can be improved long term, but overall, again, if Logan were to not bother, I don't know who else is really bothering to play this category right now. So I think that's why it probably wouldn't be beaten, if not by Logan or anyone else, for at least another year or longer. I don't know. I think this will stand still for a good amount of time. I think so. Last track of the game, fellas. BC64. Marginal improvement in the past year by none other than Luke. Luke has owned the castle for quite a while, rightfully so. And I think long term this will still go to at least a 230.3 without any new strategies being used. I think if any new strategy is possibly entertained, is going to be the ending railing to the lip trick to the ending last turn sequence. That was a mouthful. Sorry. Anyway, past year, as you'll see in last year's Worldwide Top 10, if you watched last year's video, there are only 3 230s in the past year. That's been bumped up to 6 230s now. The fourth 230 was done by your boy, so finally got that done. You know, I'm very happy about that. And then 5th and 6th for both Vincent Barone and also Emil. So shout out to everyone here for getting their 230s. And so right now this is a Daisy Mach Bike and Flame Runner comparison for 1st and 2nd place. Definitely Mach Bike can get WR here humanly, but the more practical, I guess, long-term potential will be with Funky Flame here for a human play, from what I can really speak to. I think this will probably be improved in the coming year because it looks like Luke always wants to try this track every couple of months. So we'll see. Apart from that, I think a few other players can get kind of close, but I feel like with where Luke is at right now, like I feel like where we are right now in the 2nd through 5th, 6th crowd, we're just a slight little notch below for Luke. We can maybe spit out some splits that are almost his best splits, but Luke's raw consistency and overall skill set is still, I think, just a bit further than from where we are at right now. So with that reasoning, I think Luke will still stand to maintain his reign here for a bit longer, which he's had now for, I think, over 5 years. So shout out to Luke, you're force to be reckoned with here for sure. So very impressive records as always, dude. Yeah, so I think that's where BC64 will stand. with contention for possibly being improved by Luke himself in the coming year. Regardless, 230.5 is a pretty sweet time. Not gonna lie, that's pretty solid, dude. That's all I'm gonna say. So, with that in mind, heading now to the last track of the video. Thank you all for watching. We are now up to BC64 Glitch, and this track is still literally insane. Onto the wall, slow wheelie off onto the pavement, wheeling back, ejected from the ground, high clip off the pole, far enough out to the key checkpoint, and you respawn, you turn around, and you fall out of bounds again to make sure you're going all the way back to the last checkpoint to make sure you're counting the lap. And newest development here too, that's on laps 2 and 3, is on that ramp they don't do a wheelie, they don't do a trick rather, they wheelie straight off to make the last turn a bit more simple. And I think that's actually marginally faster, I think so anyway. Regardless, this category finally had an improvement in the past year. I'm going to shout out the activity here because just like on GCN Mario Circuit, no one beat Logan for the longest time on this category after glitching it. So it was Core in September. Danny Boy gets the first 219, and then Logan improves back with the first 218 and first 217, incrementally, improvement by improvement. So yeah, like with that being said, dude, obviously faster glitch setups is the key to save even more time in any glitch category, of course. But apart from that, driving this clunky nightmare of a vehicle on this track is just nightmare inducing. This is just a miserable time to race BC64 with a spear, and I know what I'm talking about with knowing this track really well. So it's just so crazy that barely making it past with Thwomp cycles with that in mind, with where the pace is now. So I think long term, I think Logan will definitely have this again for quite a while. Logan definitely has the better spear driving on laps 2 and 3, so I think that's going to carry him tremendously to hold this record for a long period of time. I think it'll take someone matching Logan's driving and having an even faster glitch setup, and I think that won't happen for quite a while. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed. Give me one of these. I have more videos actively in the works right now. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other reactions in the past, and new world record series coming out soon this year. Hope you all are enjoying. I'll see you all soon. Take care.